Welcome to Statistics Made Simple, and I am SAVITHA VALSANG. In this video, Index Numbers Part 12, we learn the steps in the construction of price index numbers. The steps in the construction of index numbers is an important one, which is usually asked as a 5-marker. For a 5-marker, you're expected to list down all the 7 steps, and you can also write a few sentences for each of the 7 steps. So the 7 steps are: the first one, the purpose of the index number should be well defined. Second is the selection of the base year. Third, selection of items. Fourth, selection of data. Fifth, obtaining price quotations. Sixth, selection of weights and appropriate formula. And seventh is selection of the average to be used. So let's start with the first step, that is the purpose of the index number should be well defined. So before we construct an index number, a clear statement as to the purpose and the nature of its use is necessary. Without defining the purpose, it is not possible to follow the remaining steps in its construction. So if we have the statement of purpose, then related problems like selection of items and data will be solved. Second step is the selection of the base year. So the period with which comparisons for relative changes in a variable are made is termed as the base period, and the base period must be a normal period. So when do we call a base period as a normal one? Again, this is an important question which can be asked for 2 marks. So the period, it should be free of abnormalities or fluctuations due to economic boom or depression, and it should be free of strikes, floods, famines, earthquakes, etc. The second point is if the base period is taken as a period of economic instability, during which the prices of various commodities have become abnormally high due to scarcity, then the comparisons of price relatives will not be of much practical use. And the third point is the base period should not be too distant from the current period. If the base period is too distant, then the consumption of commodities may change. Now let us discuss the different types of base period. There are 2 types. Under subdivision A, we have the fixed base period. If the period of comparison for relative changes is fixed for all the years, then it is termed as a fixed base period. And subdivision B, we have the chain base period, the period of comparison which is usually the previous year. If it is used to find out the relative changes in the current year, then it is termed as a chain base period. So overall, the second step in the construction of price index number is an important one, where we have discussed about the selection of the base year and why the base year should be a normal one, and we have also learned the different types of base period, that is a fixed base period and the chain base period. The third step in the construction of index numbers is a selection of items. So the selection of items is mainly based on the purpose of the index number which is being constructed. For example, a wholesale price index numbers would require items which are transacted at the wholesale market, whereas a consumer price index number will require items which are consumed by a particular group of people. Now, if the purpose of an index number is to measure the cost of living of people belonging to low income groups, select only those items which are utilized by persons belonging to those groups, and care should be taken not to include goods and commodities consumed by people belonging to the middle income groups or the high income groups. Now, for such an index number, selection of commodities like cosmetics and other luxurious possessions like cars, PCs, refrigerators, etc., will be absolutely useless. The fourth step is the selection of data. Now, what is data? Data is usually the set of prices and quantities of the selected items which are consumed in different places, periods, and this constitutes the basis for the construction of the index numbers. Now, the data should be collected from reliable sources such as trade journals or periodical reports or from exporters, and the data should strictly pertain to the type of index number being constructed. For example, for the construction of retail price index numbers, price quotations must be obtained from super bazaars, fair price shops, departmental stores, and not from wholesale dealers. Fifth step is obtaining the price quotations. Now, as the prices are likely to vary from place to place, the price quotation should be obtained from different places and agencies. Then, the average of these prices should be used in the computation of index numbers. So, this is an important point to keep in mind, that is, the average of the prices should be used in the computation of index numbers, and also these price quotations should be obtained at regular intervals of time. Sixth step is the selection of weights and appropriate formula. The items considered for the construction of index numbers will have varied importance. For example, rice, petrol, sugar, or various commodities, they don't have equal importance. Therefore, according to the importance of the items, appropriate weights are attached. And what are these weights? Weights are usually the quantities of the items. And the selection of formulae will depend on the availability of data. So, for example, if I have the prices in the base year and the current year, and if I have only the quantities of the base year, then I can make use of last year's price index number. The seventh step is the selection of the average to be used. So usually the arithmetic mean and the geometric mean are used as averages in the construction of price index numbers. Learn the steps in the construction of price index numbers thoroughly. Thank you for watching, and in my next video, we'll learn about consumer price index numbers.